Israel, get, getting together. It's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people according to the Bible. Just coming off an amazing weekend. All the brothers came down. Captain Zariah, Captain Malquad, Captain Apadazar, Chicago brothers, Ohio brothers, Louisville brothers. All the brothers came down, and it was amazing. Um, It was an amazing event, amazing weekend. Oh, all my money's gone. I feel like crap from being out and about, kind of getting a little sickness, a little flu. But my spirit is on a million. You know what I mean? That's just going hard day and night for a couple nights. Man, it was such a blast to kick it with the brothers. All right, so we getting together. Make sure my headpiece looking right. Today we're gonna be. I think I'm gonna try something new with the TikTok. I think I'm gonna try to be do a close up live stream on TikTok. Um, okay, where it's like people in the comment section and everything like that. First, let's get going on here. All right, good to go. Mhm. All right. Shades at. Shades. Okay, I'm gonna hit up the comment section. All right. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people, according to the Bible. All right. Today we will try to do a live where the people come on, or we could talk to people, and we straight interact during the class. See how that goes. Straight battle mode. All right. Let's get the screen. All right, so we're gonna give it a test run. Try the other. Won't work. All right, have to do that the next stream. All right, let's go straight into teaching. We're gonna teach about Esau, who Esau is. We're gonna start at 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Second Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right there, and let you know who basically what's going on in the world. Esau is the end of the world. What does it mean, end of the world? It doesn't mean the end of society or the end of the earth, like the earth is going to blow up. That's what a lot of people have misconstrued about the end. World in the Bible means age or society. So it's the end of a certain age. It's the end of a certain era, if you may. You have the Roman era, the Assyrian era, the Egyptian era, the Grecian era, the Greco-Roman era, the British era, the French era. You got different eras during humanity's time where there's a power on the earth that is the most powerful at that time. Okay. Now, at this time, Esau will be the end of the world. Then Jacob will be what's next. This is how you know it's talking about right now. All right. And who's Esau? Esau is the oppressor because he's ruling the earth right now. That's how you know what that's talking about there. Okay. Basically, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're going to rule the earth next. We're going to rule all the planet next. The earth next. We're going to rule. That's who's going to rule after. Most people think it's going to be China. I don't blame you. That's what it looks like. But it's actually going to be blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The millions and millions of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they're going to come together under Christ, and they're going to rule the world next. They're going to be the next superpower on the earth. And Esau's rulership is coming to an end. I don't know if I can. Let me use this other phone. Got any juice left on it? Give me a second. All right, let's get Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Why does the Lord hate Esau? Why does he love Jacob? When you read further in the scriptures, it said it's not from one that willeth, the one that runneth, or any of that God chose to favor. God chose them before they were born, who would be his chosen people. All right. And since the birth of Esau, you can see on the earth why the Lord didn't choose Esau. The scripture said Esau was profane. What does profane means? It means nothing's holy to him. Nothing's sacred. Nothing's off limits. Nothing is something that he won't like where he won't go. Like you can get a wicked black man who's believes in selling dope, um, stealing cars, robbing. He can believe in all of that, but there's a lot of things that dude won't do. He's not profane like Esau. That's why even in prison, you got the most hardcore gangsters and criminals. They still don't accept what PDF. Blacks, Hispanics, and Americans do not accept PDFs in prison, even though them is supposed to be the scumbags of the earth. Them is supposed to be dudes who take what's not theirs, who done all these evil crimes. Some of them even unalivers, but a PDF is went too far. Who's the number one PDF? Esau. Esau is profane. That's why the Lord said he hated Esau. He loved Jacob. And this is something that is not taught in your different religions. They don't teach this in your church. Why is that? Because they know it's going to make the people have to wonder, well, who's Esau and who's Jacob? If one of them is loved and one of them is hated, who's who? And that will become a breaking point in your church. Your church will split up just from that argument right there. All right. So when you read in the scriptures, Jacob is loved, Esau is hated. All right. And for the TikTok, the second half of class, we will go deal with straight comments. We will deal with all the comments in the TikTok. Matter of fact, might do that. Might do that earlier than not to I'll let this other phone charge. We'll probably get started with that. Because we ain't got the other brothers here, my energy is low. But I could probably get my energy turned up with a good battle, a good biblical battle. All right. Let's get another scripture. Genesis 25 and 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. This is Rebecca, Isaac's wife. She had two twins. And if you know this story, this is the story of Jacob and Esau. Two twin brothers, but two different nations. The start of two different nations, two progenitors. And so she went to pray of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Came out red. That baby came out red all over like a hairy garment. That's Esau. That's the birth of the oppressor. That's where they come from. Somebody said, what is the greeting you guys say? You got to get into the school to learn the greeting. There's, there's no use for a heathen to know the greeting. I don't know if you're a heathen or a brother, so it's no use to tell you the greeting. That's for us to know and you to never find out. Mhm. And after that came his brother out. Notice he didn't say no description of the brother. And his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. There you go. Two twins. This is the start of the two races that are at odds today. Two manner of people. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And it says a man of the field, a hunter. What is the oppressor now? The oppressor doesn't relax at home. When he wants to go have fun, he goes out to the alpine mountains, to the desert, to Mount Everest, to go out and climb or go swim with sharks or does something out in the field. Look at what was that one famous guy, Steve Irwin. Look at him. He's a man of the field, like an animal. He's like a human, but he's more animal. Like he get along with animals. He out there with the animals. You know what I mean? That's what it means. He was a man of the field, not like a farmer or nothing like that. Just a man who's really out there in the wilderness. That's what that's talking about. Esau loved to go out in that wilderness. As I say, he lived like an animal. All right. Yes, we're in Indianapolis. All right. Now let's get some more in the scriptures. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Yeah, he loved Esau for that venison, that meat that he would bring out from the field. The deer. Verse 29. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and sold his birthright unto Jacob. That's where the drama starts right there. Esau sold the damn birthright. For what? You know what I mean? For what? You think you trusted in the Lord wouldn't have sustained you a little longer so you can eat? But you wanted that red meat so damn bad. You willing to give up your whole birthright for it. And that's not a small matter. You know what I mean? The birthright means you get all the riches of the Father. And they knew that. It wasn't like he didn't know how serious a birthright is. Like that's what matters the most. It matters so much that when a lot of times when twins are born, they put some type of marking or tie around the first one to come out, so they'll always know who's the really firstborn, even if it's by a couple seconds. Even if it's just by a couple seconds, he was born first. It gotta be recorded because it matters. That's who's going to inherit every damn thing. All the money, all the wealth, all the land. That's who's going to inherit it all. So that really matters who gets the birthright. Esau sold it for nothing. That's why he's profane. That's why the Lord didn't like him. And more reasons, but that's plenty of reason right there. But he screwed his own self up. He can't even put that on the Lord. He did that to himself. You did that to yourself, Esau. So Esau sold his own birthright. Nobody forced him to do that. All right. Let's get some more. And okay. And Jacob said, "Sell me this birthright, and this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die. Let's go down one more. And Jacob said, "Swear to me this day." And he sware unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. And he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Now, even after that, you done went and sold your birthright. You done went out into the damn field like a damn fool without no damn food. You the one come back trying to get some of the brother's food that he worked to put together. He makes a deal with you, say, yeah, sell me the birthright. You sell the birthright, and now you hate the birthright. That's the oppressor. That's how these oppressors are now. They'll make a deal, and they'll hate the deal they made. You the one made the deal. That's why they broke every peace treaty they ever made with the Native American Indians. Hundreds of peace treaties. They broke every single one. The peace treaty was really just a way to get the Native Indians to put their guard down. All right, Native Indians put their guard down a little bit. Let's wait a couple months. You know what I mean? All right, they acting like nothing's going to happen. Boom! Let's go attack them. Just like the mind of a devil. That's why you can't be friends with these people. You can't join these people. That's why the Lord said, you're more strong when you don't join them. That's where your real strength is at. You become even stronger if you do not join them. Y'all didn't know that was in the Bible, did it? You become stronger if you don't join these people. But we still want to join them every day. Get the real strength. The real strength is by being self-sufficient, self-sustaining, independent. Why do you think these countries, what do they fight for? Independence. Why are they fighting for independence if it's not worth nothing to be independent? Why every country fighting to be self-sustaining if it's not worth nothing to be self-sustaining? Why everybody want to move off grid and make a self-sustaining farm or whatever if that ain't worth nothing? It's worth a lot. It's worth a lot. Because if a man's life that depends on another man is not a life. Like if the only way you can live is if this other man, keeps allowing you to live, that ain't living. Because your life could be ended at the moment's notice just because he feel like it. That ain't a life. That ain't living. All right. Let's see what's going on. Oh, we got some comments on the YouTube. Oh, let me fix this camera on YouTube real quick. Hey, shalom, young man, Edward, Lord Christ. Shalom, Yashar. Seed of David. Hey, shalom, shalom. All right. Yeah, a man's life that depends on another man, that's not worth of a life. Because one day he may say, you know what, I'm tired of you. I don't like you no more. For no reason. And that's supposed to be that's your life right there. Now your life is done. Everything you dreamed to hope for and built up, all of it gone just because some guy woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Or he's arguing with his wife or something. She's stressing him out, so he want to unalive you. That ain't life. All right. So Esau, he turned on him and he hated the birthright from then on out. But this is the problem that's so bad about it. He hated the birthright, but he still tried to get the birthright after he sold it, which is so the spirit of the oppressor. He'll sell it to you, act like he hate it, or actually hate it, and then still try to get it back and steal it from you. Not even get it back honorably, but steal it back. All right, let's get Malachi 1 and 3. Malachi chapter 1, verse 3. The burden of the word, no, we're going to start at verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. Malachi, verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? What's not Esau, Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob. Like the Lord looked out for our forefather, Jacob, to get that damn blessing out of the oppressor. Like that blessing was not a light thing. Because as you read back in that story, Esau even tries to unalive Jacob later on in life because of the blessing. Like he not only he sells it, hates it, then tries to steal it, then tries to unalive the man that he sold it to so he can try to get it back. How wicked can you be? That's why the Bible calls him the border of wickedness. That's who Esau is, the border of wickedness. You want to go to the land of wickedness? Go into his land. We're in the land of wickedness right now. Somebody said, did he have heart issues? I don't know. All right, let's get the rest of the scriptures. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. The Lord is saying to Israel, I loved you so much, Jacob, and I hated Esau. I got you the birthright, and I even laid Esau heritage and his mountains to waste. You go look over at Mount Seir, it's wasted. I think it had some type of drought or something. They all famined out. Like the Lord destroyed their whole empire. The Lord destroyed their whole empire. That's how much the Lord loved us. He destroyed their empire so they wouldn't be able to come up against us. We still turned on the Lord and start serving other gods, even wood and stone. We start serving these other religions, these crosses and these rocks. We start serving a cross and a rock. Even though the Lord wasted empire for us. There would be no such thing as an oppressor right now if we would have stayed with the Lord. It'd be like, what's an oppressor? Yeah, they somewhere. I think we seen one of them one day. They out in the wilderness in the like cavemen, like they'd be like the Sasquatch or something. You only can find them if you really go out there and look for them or something. Like the Lord did that for us. He basically made the oppressor like the Sasquatch, where he wouldn't be nowhere on the earth. But we disobeyed the Lord. That's how tough it is. That's how bad it is when we disobey the Lord. And that's what we got to stay away from. That's what we got to get back to, which is serving the Lord so he can do it again. Now we got to pray and beg and plead for the Lord to lay these people waste again. And he already did it before. For us. He already did it. Now we need him to do it again. That's like one of them bad kids who do something they ain't supposed to do, and they need their parents to get them up out of it. But so bad. We such a bad child. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We done did what our parents told us not to do, what our father told us not to do. He had to bail us out. We went back and did it again. And you wonder why we in such a hellish position. We in such a hellish position because we done did it again. We were in captivity already in the Babylon. We was in captivity already. We got back into our land. And we did it again. We broke the laws again. We start serving false gods again. We start trying to join these other nations again. That's a tragic story. What happened at the end of the Maccabees, man? Like we fought against these Grecians to win our independence, and all we wanted to do after winning our independence, all we wanted to do was join back with them. How foolish is that? How foolish is that? You done fought these people, beat them, got your independence under much bloodshed we had. Then after some time go by, we say, look, let's just join them because they got all types of food and sex, and the Greeks had all that freaky stuff going on. The Aphrodite and all that stuff. They got oppressor women. Oh, we love them. We can get us some oppressor women. They got games we can join in and get rich and get money. Yeah, the Greeks had athletes. The Greeks had professional athletics, and black people were joining them and getting rich and famous like today. You think they wanted to serve God when they had an opportunity to become rich and famous? And a rich, famous athlete? It's the same today. Let some young brother feel like he have a chance, a shot at the NBA or the NFL. He'd have to be put in a wheelchair to come in this class and start listening to about and caring about the Lord. Because he's gonna be solely focused on trying to have that career. God, his people, none of that means nothing. Because he's gonna be so focused on getting that career. This is why I don't really now I think about it, I don't have no pity for them dudes who lose their football and basketball career that they was gonna have. You weren't gonna do shit with it, no way. You weren't gonna do nothing with it, no way. You weren't gonna stand up for the people or do nothing or help out the people. You're just gonna take that money and put yourself in a nice pool, buy you an island off of Belize, off the coast, and take you and your kids and go. You're gonna spend $10 million on a private island just for yourself. That's all you would do. You ain't gonna help your hood. At least back in the day, it used to be about getting rich, come back, help your hood out, help your community out. Our people get rich and forget about the whole neighborhood they came from. There could be kids starving on the streets where he came from. He don't give a damn. He wouldn't care to go back and even send somebody to go check on him. Like, hey, look, man, I remember you my homie from back in the day, or you my cousin, my manager, my secretary, or somebody. Go back to my old neighborhood, check on the peoples. Let's do something for the community. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put aside a couple $100,000. You know what I mean? Go take it, do something for the community. Send me the footage and the receipts. You know what I mean? Give it to somebody you trust. You know what I mean? Or charity. Just go to a charity. Say, look, this is a charity in the community, a community center. You know what I mean? Y'all bathrooms is horrible. Y'all facilities is terrible. I'm gonna go ahead and fix up these facilities, man. I'll give y'all 50,000 grant. Give you a facility. Give you some new basketballs. You know what I mean? Give y'all something around here to help the community. Like, damn, they don't give a damn. So I don't give a damn about them having no little football career that them fell through. Somebody said, how do you feel about foundational Black Americans? All right, foundational Black American. Yeah, somebody said these YNs are too busy chasing WWs. That's it. That's what I'm saying. I have no mercy for them, man. They need to get. That's all they cared about. That's what made our nation fall in the first place. Now, what I think personally about foundational Black Americans, I think it is a CIA psyop. I think somebody in the CIA said, look, we're going to give you some money. Go ahead, keep promoting what you're doing. We like it. And they promoted that movement on the internet and different sources because it's divisive for the Black community. Somebody said, do you be ready to provide auxiliary support for the people? I don't know what auxiliary support is. Break that down. You know what I mean? You got to be more specific. I don't know what the hell auxiliary support is. You know what I mean? At least I don't know what you mean by auxiliary support. Somebody said, "Why are you worshiping all these golden idols? We don't worship nothing, not a damn thing on this table, and none of this is worshipped at all. These are things that symbols that represent our nation and our history. You know what I mean? Biblical symbols. Asta Grifugulula. I seek forgiveness in God. Yeah, whatever. Um, yeah, so I think the foundation of the Black American movement is a divisive movement promoted by the oppressor to to separate the 12 tribes of Israel further, right? Because they knew they always wanted to keep the tribes separated. They didn't want the tribes to mix. That's anybody who's in the know as far as oppressors know that. They don't want to see blacks and Native Indians and Hispanics and Native and Haitians coming together in any way, shape, form, or fashion. They know that naturally. You don't even got to teach them that. They know that's wrong. They don't like that. Somebody said, if there is violence among your people, are you prepared to stomp it out and bring peace? Okay. This is the problem with somebody who think like you. All right? If there is violence among your people, so I got a question. If there's a brother who's committing violence against another brother, how are you going to stomp that out? If there's a brother selling poison to the community, how are you going to stomp that out? All right. Somebody say, is that America's responsibility? No, our responsibility is to get first. First, this is how you got to do it first. You have to learn first. Before you can lead, you have to learn how to lead the people. You still thinking small. I know I ain't trying to get at you. You thinking small. You thinking, oh, what if this guy's fighting? Or what if one small oppressor unalives a black man? We should be ready to go fight him or something. That's too small. That's too small. We have to put ourselves in position to lead the people on them as a mass of people, as the masses. We got to be put in position to lead the masses, and you cannot lead the masses without a message. You have to have a theology, a philosophy, in order to lead the mass of the people. Now, if you want to just go fight little skirmishes here and there, but you know what I mean, behind dudes that don't even know how they supposed to move, you can go ahead. But to really lead our people, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, you need to learn from the ground up a philosophy that can heal the people in totality, not no little half-ass philosophy. Like Foundation of Black American is a half-ass philosophy. Captain Zaryak already talked to the dude about that, Tariq Nasheed's people and all that about that. He said, okay, y'all, we Foundation of Black Americans. This is the movement. This is what people gonna rally behind. There was a transgender that was trying to be the queen of the movement. And people in the movement promoted the transgender to the queen. All right, and it said right on as one with the light. Yeah, no, I ain't going in on you. I'm just trying to tell you and teach everybody what we have. What at least not everybody. The men. This message is mainly for the men that would be the leaders of our nation. All right, because once the leaders are established, everything else will flow. The Lord said we don't have no shepherds. The sheep don't have no shepherd. So this is for the men who would be the leaders. We have to learn the Foundation of Black Americans. They don't have a total message philosophy that's going to heal our people. All they have is something that's a part. Because he said, what about the transgenders? So now, let's say we all become Foundation of Black Americans. We follow that philosophy and that movement and them leaders who established that. Now transgenders can still become our leaders because we do not have a philosophy or a standard for a leader of a foundational Black American movement or a foundational Black American nation or a foundational Black American group. We have no standard for the leader of that group. If there's no standard for the leader of that group, you know the people are going to go in, the people are going to fall. When the blind lead the blind, they both shall fall into the ditch. So, in order to really raise up our nation, it's not about skirmishing and fighting over little problems in the streets. It's about creating, and not even we don't have to create it because God created it for us. But it has to be about learning a philosophy that you can lead the people with. Learning an ideology, learning a knowledge that you can lead the people with. Without that, all your efforts are in vain. Somebody say FBA is more for administrative clarity. Okay, let's say we say that. The FBA is their administrative clarity, which means they're trying to push paperwork, is what you're saying. They're trying to push paperwork with the man to achieve goals, which sometimes paperwork help you out. It gets shit done. The pen is mightier than the sword. You know that. Now, because they don't have any knowledge on what to push, they still will be ineffective as leaders. They may be good at that job. They should probably follow the Israelite School of UPK, and we will teach them what to do with their administrative abilities. For example, we was battling somebody like that. They was kind of pushing the reparations. And we said, okay, they said they already have some Black leaders in office that they're working with, and they got that's doing the job basically. I asked them, what's one of the things they've done in the last couple years for the Black community? Got all these Black mayors, Black this and Black that, Black. What is something they have done? A law they passed for the Black community within the last few years. You know what he sent me? He sent me a law that they got passed that said you cannot be discriminated based on your hairstyles. And I'm gonna tell you why that's not a good. That was a failure. It seems good on paper. It sounds good. Oh yeah, we can't get discriminated now for my hairstyle. When you go to a job interview and they don't like your hairstyle, they don't have to say, I'm not hiring you because of your hairstyle. So that means they can still not hire you. So you basically did nothing. If they don't like you at your job because of your hairstyle, and you make a law that says they can't fire you because of your hairstyle, they will fire you for a different reason and still get rid of you. They don't have to say it's from your hairstyle. So something like that is retarded. They should have been better off passing a law that says every Black male from 18 to 25 has immediate employment, automatically getting paid $50,000 a year for doing whatever job that they can find, that whatever job that they decide, or they can make jobs. Say, look, we've passed a law. We get to hire 50,000 Black men. Felonies and all. And they get decent, respectable wages and they're going to be doing respectable work. Hell, put them all in college or something. Put them all in an office building and tell them send emails all day like these oppressors do. But they automatically get $50,000 a year. You know what that'll do? That'll solve the crime problem right there. Because every young Black male would know if he wanted a good job, he just walk in that door. He don't have to go sell no dope. He don't have to go robbing for a car. He don't have to be riding the bus around town. He don't have to be doing none of that. Now the cats that still say, get that high-paying job, that you don't got to do nothing to get the money. I'd rather keep doing what I'm doing in the streets. The number of dudes in the streets will go so small to where the dudes in the streets will say, forget this street stuff. Ain't nobody even in the streets no more. The streets is dead. They all working at the Black factory that they passed a law that all the Blacks got a job automatically. All the Blacks get this. That's something better. You know what I mean? Or there's tons of things they could have done that was better than that. But because they focused on administrative, they're not really they don't have law, statutes, commandments to really help what to do with that talent. Somebody say your movement is for development and refinement of a community. No, the main goal of the Israelite School UPK is education. That's the main goal, is to teach us how to serve God and how to love our brother. How to love God and love your brother. They pushing too much BS in their schools, churches, and governments. There you shoot. Hell, here's another law they can pass. If a classroom is over 50% Black, Hispanic, or Native American, the teacher must be Black, Hispanic, or Native American. You just created thousands of jobs right there, and you helped ensure a better supply of teachers. Because I'm gonna tell you now, these teachers they can't stand our Black kids. I've worked in the school system. I've seen it with my own two eyes. They cannot stand our children. You come by, sometimes you hear, the teacher hate me, the teacher don't like me. Them kids telling the truth. Them kids telling the absolute truth. A lot of us didn't want to believe it. But them kids were telling the damn truth. Somebody said, can an Israelite man be a firefighter? Yeah, of course. They got a Black Firefighters Union right down the street from here. That's no problem. Somebody said it is progress, UBI, or supplemental income up to $50K a year. You know what I'm saying? That's some good something right there. Somebody said, why are you always begging from the oppressor? Where are the other two beggars? How is begging for the oppressor if we're trying to take our own tax money that Black people pay for and circulate it back into our community? How is that begging? See, guys like you so dumb, you don't understand the system. You don't listen to the stereotypes and the propaganda and the prejudice. You think when they say Black people are on welfare, you think that other people are paying for the welfare they give to Black people. Basically, you think Black people don't pay no taxes. Black people don't, when they buy a car for $50,000, they don't have to put $5,000 down for taxes. When they buy a house, they don't really got to pay for the taxes for that house, do they? When Black people pay rent, the person that owned the house, they don't have to pay no taxes, huh? The job that a Black man work at, them taxes that come out of his check, that really don't exist, do it? So you don't understand the system. They take money from the Black community through taxation. They put a little bit back into the community, and they take the rest and siphon it to their own communities. If you don't believe me, go to a city council meeting one day where they're talking about what they're doing with the money. I've sat in city council buildings. I went to college for city urban planning. I know exactly what's going on in the city. I know exactly why they put a one-way on this street or why they put a divider on that street. I know exactly why they don't open up commercial real estate opportunities in certain places. Why I know it. You'll see in the Black community, there'll be a lot that been sitting there for 20 years, right in the middle of a high density, high traffic commercial area. But it's a vacant lot on the busiest intersection in the city, or one of the busiest intersections in the city. And it's been vacant for 20 years. You telling me no commercial developer actually wanted to buy that and make some money off that lot? Nobody wanted to build an apartment there. Nobody ever wanted to build a strip mall there. The city blocks it on purpose until they gentrify it. Then all of a sudden, all this development, real estate development, commercial development just pops up out of nowhere. You still thinking we get something when that you think we begging when we try to get our own tax money back. Somebody say you're making up your own ridiculousness. Some people, the conversations above their head, conversations above their pay grade. He said, "What oppressor man took your girl?" Good night. Somebody said, "Bank won't fund it." There you go. Somebody said, "So buy it and develop it." You don't understand what I just said. If I said it's been vacant for 20 years and no developer or nothing, they all want the land. the city blocks the land from getting the development until they gentrify the community. Then they will allow the developers into the land. And the developers could be black, white, Hispanic, anything. But they won't allow it to be bought and used until they can try to buy it and use it. And it will benefit them. Because they know if they put, even if it's an oppressor, that's the developer, he puts a strip mall there for 20 storefronts. If it's in a black and a brown community, that means that's 20 businesses for the black and brown community. Even though the majority of the money goes to one oppressor, but it also opens up 20 avenues of revenue for black and brown community, which will also take revenue from an oppressor's neighborhood where that black and brown community has to go shop at. Man, you don't know. Y'all ain't ready for this conversation, man. Y'all ain't ready, man. Y'all ain't ready, man. Yeah, y'all need to just keep still believing that you know what I mean? Just keep with the argument. Black people killing other black people. Just stay with that argument. That's better. Don't get into no real talk on this shit. Y'all ain't ready. Somebody said if people helped each other and we came together, the government would change. No, the government don't have to change because people come together. You retarded? Too risky if the bank won't cooperate. Somebody said always the victim. A black community can support black business communities disappearing. That's why we teach in here knowledge, right? Because if you have a religious building on every corner in the black community that says don't shop black, that's wrong to be pro-black, that we need to love everybody, over hearing that message for a couple hundred, maybe even 100 or a couple hundred years, what do you think the mindset of the people going to be? You think they're going to be pro-black? That's why I said here we got to create the leaders that are going to lead the people with the right knowledge and wisdom and understanding. That's what we create in the Israelite School of UPK. Somebody say you aren't oppressed. Your culture demands you be a victim so you can blame others for your failures. So I got a question for you. When the stock market, not the stock market, when the housing bubble and the housing market crashed, and all you people, all of them lost their homes, who'd they blame? When there's a failure in government, who do they blame? When there's a failure in the checks and balances and the protections that the government is supposed to provide, who do they blame? You're supposed to blame the government, fool. All right, so you need to stop playing. You need to stop being a victim and stop crying in the comment section about who we blaming. You sound like you a victim. Stop being a victim. Take responsibility for your actions, oppressor. Stop crying and looking to the left and right and point fingers. Take responsibility for your actions. You sound like a victim. Somebody said, forget color. Unity of all of us struggling would create changes, but it wouldn't be easy. That's another problem. Unity of all of us struggling. Let me ask you this. When there's a poor oppressor woman, it's a woman and she's of the oppressor's race, but she's poor. And she comes in the black community and blames a black person for any crime. They say she just made it up. What happens? They're gonna side with the oppressor. You can't come together with the oppressor. That's how many times I'm trying to teach you that. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked in thousands of years of history. There's no group that has been able to come together with the oppressor. So you got to stop trying that. Somebody said, so if a couple million of all races march to Washington to show unity, they'll take notice. Okay. Trying to get the government to notice something that doesn't affect their money It's like trying to get a fat guy to notice something that don't affect his food. Is a fat brother, big bone brother. If you affect his food, he'll start noticing. But if you affect his, his car, his job, his outfit, his clothes, and all that stuff, he'd be like, it's whatever. But start affecting his food. That's what the government is. If you're not affecting the government's money, then they just they'll just look at you on the news while they sitting in the mansion eating. Oh yeah, wow! Look at the people rioting. Hey, pass me that T-bone steak with the calamari and the fish eggs, the $10,000 what they call them fish eggs they always eating. They call caviar. Pass me the caviar. Thank you. Put the caviar on the T-bone steak. You know what? I'm kind of full. You can go ahead and throw this away. Throw away the $500 steak and the $500 caviar. Throw that in the garbage. I'm full. Let me get a little. Let me get that $200 bottle or $2,000 bottle. Boop. Pop that open. Pour a little bit. Pour this much. Sniff it a little bit. Wet their lips with it, and then throw that away. You can throw the rest of that away. I don't want it. That's what they're gonna be doing while they're looking at you run around all over the streets on the news. If it ain't affecting their money, you ain't doing nothing. Somebody said you have lived a much more privileged life than plenty of oppressors, yet they are oppressors. Stop making excuses. You're always making excuses for oppressors. What the hell does my life being good or bad have to do with a whole country of evil, We talking about millions and millions, probably to the billions of people that have been affected by these oppressors. And you saying, well, your life is good. You sound like a coward. You sound like you're trying to make an excuse to love and not stand up for your people and not teach your people the right way. So we say all you do is generalize. Well, we're talking about a country. We ain't talking about my house or my sofa or my car. We're talking about a whole country, fool. How the hell we gonna not generalize when you're talking about a country? When you're talking about multiple countries, when you add all the rest of the tribes. Come on, man. Somebody said lots of huge spiritual truths coming from the basement at the YMCA. Yeah, I wish we could teach this in the basement of the YMCA. YMCA got a lot more stuff we can use. And we can use their money and their facilities and their lights and their internet. We ain't got to pay nothing. Shoot. If you got to hook me up. We take a basement YMCA. They going to pay for these lights. They going to pay for this equipment. They going to pay for this chairs, tables, webcams, and iPhones all over the place. Let's do it. I'll proudly be like, hey, Isupk, come to the basement of the YMCA. We'll be right there teaching class. Yakub is back, and he will end y'all ghost gene bonobos very soon. No shot buying you, Yakub. No, you lie. He coming for you. Whatever. All right. We're gonna go to the second half of the class, where we'll go TikTok live, and we'll actually interact with the TikTok live. We're gonna do that tonight. We're gonna try something new. See how we can do this right here. All right, let's end the stream. Still got 1,000. How we still get 1,000 views and hardly wasn't nobody in the stream? All right, y'all. Give me 2 minutes. We're gonna transfer the live over to where we talking to people, but it's not gonna be easy because I haven't done it before. I seen Kim Nazariak doing. I'm gonna have to give him a call next week. Be like, look, how was you doing that?
A lot of white Northerners who gave their lives to bring slavery to an end.
Night. How you do the live and get people on here? All right, give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to put this thing together. What the hell is this? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is not. Not know how to do this. All right. I don't know how to do this. I thought it would be pretty easy. Go live with guests, but it's not giving me no. Okay. All right. We in the game. We in the game, actually. My bad. Okay. So, if y'all see me talking to somebody on here, that's from the TikTok world. All right. I'm gonna go live with the people. Who is it? Oh, door's open. Brother's got it.
Oh no, I'm just trying to get this order from my mom.
Oh, okay. No sweat. Okay. We look like we live. We look like we live. Okay. We'll go back to the teaching. Um, let's go back to the lesson. Who is Esau? Hebrews 12 and 16. Let's get that. Oh, this is one of my favorite scriptures right here. My favorite. Because it just lets you know the spirit that's on the suppressor, who he is, what he's about, what do you need to know about him. Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Esau, that's the oppressor. He sold his birthright. He's a fornicator and profane person. Now you know he a fornicator. Look at what's going on, what they've been doing on Epstein Island. These people are fornicators. That's all they know. You know what I mean? All they know is to be profane fornicators. And that's all they do. It's part of their culture. When you go into the history of their culture, the Greeks, the Romans, they're a lot. What they had the boys. There's a lot of them scholars. They always had young boys with them. You think bringing them along because it's knowledge? No, they bring them along because they were boy. You know, that was their lovers. That was a part of their culture. All right, that's why the Bible calls them the border of wickedness. Like if you want to go to where the wickedness is, go to where they are. Let's get Genesis 27 and 40, which is which goes into why we should be separate from them. Why we have to separate from them. Genesis 27 and 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live. That's Esau. Let's stop right there. That's Esau right there. A lot of people say, oh, how is that Esau? A lot of people live by the sword. Who are all the guns named after? Uh, Glock, Remington, uh, Smith and Wesson. Who are all these people? Kalishnikov. Who are all these people? They're oppressors. They live by the sword. That's why the modern day swords are even named after them. Because they live by it so much that the majority of the modern day swords have their names on it because they created them. Who created the atomic bomb? Was it the Chinese? Was it the Arabs? No. It was Esau. What's on it?
Oh shit! It's not enough. I'll tell you that. It's not.
Oh yeah, I'll take it. The water. Take a slice of pizza for later. That's who the guns are named after. So you know they live by the sword. It's telling the truth. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. You couple this with the precept, line upon line, precept upon precept in Revelations and in Isaiah and in Deuteronomy, where the oppressor is going to go into captivity for putting us in captivity. He's going to go into slavery for putting us in slavery. And guess what? He's going to be in slavery for longer than we have been in slavery. So we've been in slavery for, the scripture says, sir, reward them double. So yeah, we've been in captivity for such and such amount of time, but they will be in captivity for an even longer amount of time, in the spectrum of history. So that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to see with them. They're going to be in history. In history, they're going to be in captivity for the long amount of time. That's why it says they're going to serve thy brother. And even more so, who has said they're going to serve thy brother? And who did they put in captivity? Their brother. So it just makes sense that they would be in captivity that they would be in captivity for one. And not only that it would make sense that they will serve their brother. And their brother being the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who they have treated not like a brother at all. Let's get to more on the prophecies concerning Esau. Where we at? 27 and 40. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion. So there will be a time where they have the dominion, but we're living in that time now. That thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Because these people, they have to be in bondage. They cannot run around on the earth like they're doing now. Because they are just the wicked. All right. So, but there will be a time, because the Lord knows what the future. There will be a time where they will have the dominion, and during that time, they will break the yoke from off their neck. But guess what? That yoke is going back on their neck, according to the prophecies in Revelations, Isaiah, and Deuteronomy, and in the book of Psalms as well. And in the book of Malachi as well, and in the book of Malachi as well. All right. So let's get Hebrews 12 and 16. That's back to where we was at before, but we're going to get the second half of that scripture. All right. We're saying Esau was a fornicator, and a profane person. That's the oppressor. Get a message. Okay. He said the camera feed is hella chopped. Okay. Come help a nigga then. He said, I'm proud and oppressor, but that doesn't mean oppressor pride. I don't know what you mean by that. This is talking about you oppressors. It's not talking about nobody else. All right, I'm going to check the stream because they said it's choppy. So I'm going to see what I can do about that. I have to go into it. I might have to use this other phone. No, it's not choppy on this phone. I'm watching it. Oh, he must be talking about the YouTube. No, it's not choppy on this phone. If it's choppy on the YouTube, then there's nothing I can do about that right now. It's been choppy the last couple of days. All right. So let's get back on the scriptures. Hebrews 12 and 16. We're going into 17. For you know that how afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. This is talking about the oppressor. He sought repentance. He tried to get his birthright back, even though he sold it. But there was no way he can get it back. There was no repentance for him, even though he cried like a little coward baby. Even though he cried like a baby, because why are you crying over something that you sold? You crying over something that you despised. You crying over something that you gave away for a morsel of meat. This just goes into the spirit of Esau. This is why you can't join with him. He's biblically crooked. All right? Biblically crooked. There's no straightening what the Lord has made crooked. We're going to get Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1 through 4. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. I'm going to say, you're crying like a baby yourself. You ain't crying. We point out the facts. We giving the history and the knowledge of these people and in biblical, real biblical history. Not that these, because these different religions, they don't want to teach no history. They don't want to go into this part of the Bible. Yeah, I mean, they don't want to break this part down because they know it makes these oppressors look bad. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Everybody despises Esau. You are greatly despised. Like how many children you gonna PDF before the world see you for what you really are? How many? How long does that got to be a part of your internet before the world really gets tired of it? How long? Like you got these PDF files in your computer and you're sitting here doing all this PDF, but everybody still thinks you're righteous when it's far from the truth what the Bible is saying. The Bible says you'll be greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. That's one thing about them. They're very prideful. And their pride is what's going to lead to their downfall. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. They lived in the caves. They were the cavemen. This is where original cavemen come from. This is Esau. The Lord knew Esau. He was living in the clefts of the rocks. Cavemen. Whose habitation is high. We're up high up in the mountains. Now they up in the skyscrapers. They want to live up in the penthouse high up. You know what I mean? And have live like in a mountain, in a rock. They want to still be caves. They want the downtown look like a cave. You know what I mean? It don't look like a nothing else but a cave. What they call it, the concrete jungle. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? This is what the oppressor says in his heart, in his mind. Who's going to bring me down? Who's going to bring me down to the ground? God is going to show you and tell you that, look, he's the one who's going to bring you down to the ground. You know what I mean? So don't worry. You know what I mean? Just keep your pride. Keep being so prideful, because then when that day comes, it'll be all the better. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, once again, biblical prophecy, you exalt yourself as the eagle. What is the national bird of America? The bald eagle. That has been the national bird of these oppressors in almost all their empires. The eagle, the bird. You exalt yourself as the eagle. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, even though you landed on the moon, what do they say when they land on the moon? The eagle has landed. Biblical prophecy in real time. The eagle has landed. Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. The Lord's still going to bring you down, even though you reach to the stars. You've reached to the stars. You've went where no man have ever went before, on the moon. Guess what? Even from there, the Lord will bring you down. None of that's going to save you from the wrath of the Lord. None of that. And though thou set, okay, let's sit on that actually. Let's sit on that. So this is giving more example of Esau in the Bible. And who this Esau is. Esau is the oppressor that's in this world. Let's go to verse 8 through 10. Shall I not in that day, this is verse 8, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau. That's what you see now with Donald Trump being such a fool. The Lord has destroyed their wisdom. They've even destroyed, they're so bad. There's farmers that have lost all their wealth because they voted to kick out the Hispanics, even though Hispanics work for them. They have illegal Hispanics working for them. Even though it'll destroy their family farm, they still wanted to get rid of Hispanics so bad that they lost their home family farm. All right, that's what it means to say you're gonna destroy your wisdom. Verse 9, and thy mighty men, O Teman, Teman is the Germans, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off. That's what's going to happen in the end. Donald Trump, he is a German, and he has no wisdom. All that wisdom that the Germans supposedly had of technology and this and that, and the studying that they was doing, all that is down. All it leads up to Donald Trump, when the Lord had taken the wisdom out of the mount of Esau. Lord has taken the wisdom from these people, and they will not get nothing back. Have more on Esau. Let's go to chapter 2, verse 12 through 18. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. That's what happened. When blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got kicked out of Jerusalem, we became strangers. Became strangers unto our God and on the earth. But when that happened, Esau was the first one to be there. One of the first ones to look down on us. All right. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Esau should not have rejoiced over Judah in the day of their destruction. The Jews, the real Jews. And you can find that motif. It's a carving of the Romans carrying the menorah out of Jerusalem. That's what this scripture is talking about. It's talking about the same thing. Yeah, man. What's good, man? What's good? Question or comment? Otherwise, I'm gonna keep reading. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. When Jerusalem fell, the Romans was the main ones there. You know what I mean? Hey, brother, you got a comment or a question?
Yeah, my bad. Was my mic on?
Yeah. You got a comment or a question?
No, I like what you're doing. Bro. This is really good. Yesterday I was going at it with Yiddish wannabe Israelite. And I told them, y'all ain't the people. Y'all are worshiping idols. Y'all bowing down to a wall. And y'all worshiping Moloch. Y'all doing baby. None of them have stepped up and said, hey, we're against that. We're against seed sacrifice. I don't know if I can say that about TikTok. You know what I mean? Have you seen one of them come out and talk about that and denounce it?
They're not. According to Revelations 2 and 9, the scripture says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. It's talking about the real Jews, how we working, how we have poverty. But thou art rich. We're rich because this truth belongs to us that we can see. It says, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not. See, the Bible knows the people who are saying they are, but they're not. But are the synagogue of Satan. Why would you expect the synagogue of Satan to denounce Satanism? You see what I'm saying? You're not gonna
Exactly.
Yeah. You're not gonna see the synagogue of Satan denounce Satanism. All right? They ain't gonna say nothing about it. That's why the Bible calls them the border of wickedness. Like saying like in that Lion King movie where the Lion King father brought the son Simba or something to the edge of the kingdom, and he said, "This is all your empire." He said, "What about that dark place over there?" He said, "Don't go over there. That's over there is darkness. It's not our empire. There's no light on that. That was the hyenas' land. That land spiritually is talking about where oppressors live. The problem we have is we are living within that dark land. We are living in the land of the hyenas. We're living in the land of the PDFs. So it's hard for us to see it. But if we were to be on the outside looking in, we would see it even more clear. If we had our own empire, we would know, look, we don't do that. That type of stuff don't happen here. But we're in the empire where that stuff happens. So to us, it's like we expect something to be done about it when they don't give a damn about that. Because they don't give a damn about children, because children cannot our children are weak and defenseless. That's why they know that those children are not going to come back and do nothing to me.
Guess where the capital P people are. Guess where the capital of the P people are.
They got a couple capitals right now. Is Washington D.C. in America? What you saying?
Israel.
There you go. There you go. That's an even bigger capital because that capital is running Washington D.C.
Where do all the P's flee to? Where do all the P's flee to?
Oh yeah, I think they allow them over there. You can be a PDF and get safety over there. Like you can get, they don't charge. They don't come back and catch you. Like, look, you're a PDF. You can't run over to this country. No, you're allowed to run over there. Which is why I said you can't expect the synagogue of Satan. Satan cannot cast out Satan.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Correct. And then look, LGBT to the Q is widely accepted in Israel. What is supposedly Israel? I'm telling you. He said, "You will know my people by their words. You will know my people by their words." But we're already the people. We're in the bloodline. I'm from son of Gad's tribe of Uri.
Okay. Gadite, North American Indian.
That's from my mother's side, from Nigeria. Igbo.
Okay.
Uri.
Okay.
So URI, but they say Aries here in America, but it's Uri. But yeah, that's from the son of Gad. Son of Dan, tribe of Dan is also here too in Igbo. And,
okay, hold on. Let me help you out. Let me help you out a little bit. You in the Bible is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are what your father is. Your mother's ethnicity really carries no weight. Period. It don't carry no weight. Your father's ethnicity is what carries the weight. That's the bloodline. That's the seed royal.
Yeah.
Now,
yes.
What you're talking, getting into the Hamites, the Ubus, this and that. What you want to see is about the kingdom of Jabu and the kingdom of Akumbu, which those are part of Nigeria and Ghana, and which are part of the empires that put the kingdom of Judah in slavery. All right, we got the map where the kingdom of Judah is on the map in that area.
In Arabia?
No, the kingdom of Judah was in West Africa, in modern day Benin and Togo.
Yes. Yeah, it was there. It was there. They moved there after Israel. After they got kicked out.
After they fled from Israel.
Because when they got kicked out of Israel, that was only a certain tribe. The tribe of Judah was still in Arabia.
No, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, they all went into West Africa. Now you had our people that did go to other places, but the majority of them fled into Africa. We fled into Africa.
They were always fleeing into Africa. Everyone fled into Africa, but the house of Judah, I'm always trying to tell people, because this is how you tell that these Ashkenazis and Persians are not real. Because they don't know that the tribe of Judah was still in Arabia under the Ottoman Empire. Then they left.
Okay, not the whole tribe of Judah.
The Sahel, and then West Africa, and then South Nigeria.
Yeah. There was those. That's my that area you talking about, Turkey. That's actually ancient Greece. What you said?
No, not Turkey, Arabia. The four kings.
You said the Ottoman Empire, right?
They were under the Ottoman Empire.
Okay, but there were also lots of black people in Greece, which is where the Ottoman Empire's capital was. You understand?
Correct.
So that's where you read, because from the Greek captivity, we ran into Greece. You know what I mean? So it's a lot to it. You need to get into classes.
They were black though. Remember, they were all black. Everybody was black.
Yeah, all the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi is dark skin. Dark skin.
I mean, not black though, but you know what I mean. Copper color, not black.
Somebody said, haven't they done DNA testing already, and they proved that Ethiopians are Israelites and the blood is?
Oh yeah. No. The Somalians, the Ethiopians.
No. Let me help you out.
They all have the
No. Let me help you out. No, because is the ethnic group is the race of Ethiopians in the Bible?
Yes.
Are the race of Ethiopians in the Bible? Are they the Israelites?
They're the Israelites.
So when the Bible calls these people Ethiopians, it's actually talking about Israelites.
Yeah, but remember Ethiopia.
No. When the Bible said because the Ethiopians brought 1 million men to try to destroy Jerusalem, and they got defeated. How the hell are the Ethiopians and the Israelite the same when in the Bible they're two different races?
No, because they might have had some division or civil war.
No, there's no biblical scripture that says the Ethiopians and the Israelites had a civil war where they became two. Ethiopians are from the sons of Ham. That's a totally different bloodline. Israelites are from the sons of Shem. That's a different bloodline. Those are two totally different bloodlines. They're two nations. Ethiopians are a separate race. They're not the same. Ain't none of the 12 tribes named Ethiopia.
No.
So don't ever think they are them. They are Ethiopians. Kenyans, Somalians are all under the banner of Ethiopians in the Bible. They're not Israelites. They're not one of the tribes.
Okay, so you yeah. You know what? That's true, because I always ask them, hey, how can y'all ain't Israelites? You guys used to be Israelites, and they be like, no, we're Christians. So I'm like, okay.
Nah, they're not Israelites. All right. Somebody said, here's another misconception. Because you're from your father, you're Israelite. Somebody said, who's Queen of Sheba then? Queen of Sheba is a Ethiopian who went on a presidential visit to visit the king of Jerusalem. Now, most people try to say, "Oh, she went there to get down and have sex." She's the queen of the Ethiopia. Do the queen of Britain come to another country just to have sex with the king over there? That's not. No, they come over there for business because they're the king. They're the queen.
It's because they don't respect you when you're copper colored.
Huh?
They don't respect you when you're copper colored. These folks over here.
Oh no, it's good. I don't respect them either. So
no. I mean that's why they said what they said. That's why they said what they said. Yeah. What you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't respect them either. So it's not a big deal.
Go.
So
what about Persia? Which one's Persia?
Persia is another empire. Persia comes from the Persians and the Medes, which are the modern day Iranians. All right, they are not Israelites at all. They actually put Israelites in captivity. All right, those are those shahs over there in Iran right now, and some of parts of Iraq. Those are ancient Persians. All right, those are ancient Persians. Somebody said Queen of Ethiopia had a baby with Solomon. So how in the heck do they not have the same blood? That's a tall tale. There's nowhere in the Bible that they had a baby. It never happened. And now, even if let's say they did, right? You got 1 million Ethiopians. One Ethiopian woman has a baby with one Israelite man. Now all those millions of Ethiopians are Israelites? That's not how that works.
That's how I always get the Persians. That's how I always get the Persians.
That's not how that works. No, look, listen. if I'm a black man and I sleep with one oppressor, let's say a white woman, and we have a baby, does that make all blacks and all whites the same race?
No.
Exactly. So if which is not true, there's no proof. If King Solomon had a baby with Queen Sheba, that don't change that they're two separate races. That actually proves the point that they're two separate races because you're trying to make them come together through a baby. So
No.
not you, the guy in the comment section. Not you, the guy in the comment section.
Yes, I know. I just forgot. Who was the woman that went to Persia? Who was the woman that was it Esther or I'm bringing it right now.
Yeah, Esther or Mordecai. She was married to the Persians, or was that the Babylonians?
What was her name? What was her name?
Esther. Or
Esther,
and
okay.
her Hebrew name was Hadassah. But let me see. Let me double check. If it was, I believe it was the Babylonians, and they were defeated by the Persians. Let me double check.
Really? Okay.
Let me double check. I'm double checking now. It's in Shushan the palace. Yeah, they was in Babylon. Whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. Esther or Hadassah, she was in Babylon. They went in. They went. Persia took over Babylon, but at this time, Babylon was its own kingdom. That's where they were at. Let me double check, read more into it to make sure, because this empire at this time had over 120 provinces from India all the way to Ethiopia. So let me double check because it might have been the king of Babylon that brought them over, but at the time, let me see who she was dealing with. Was it the Babylonians or the Persians? Give me a second. I'm reading through the scriptures. Y'all can find that information in the book of Esther. I'm in the second chapter.
No, I was in a heated debate. I was a personal trainer, and I ran into some person, and they were telling me, no, it's the mother. I said, no, it's the father. I said, no, man, we went on for like 30 minutes, man. So that's how you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's the mother. Why is that?
Because a lot of people are not going off biblical. They're going off of really the small hats. The small hats keep telling everybody that the bloodline goes through the mother. That's what the small hats keep telling everybody, which is not true. Somebody said no, it's not. Go to Ethiopia; they have the same lineage as the current small hats. No, they don't. They do not have none of the same bloodline of small hats. Small hats come from Shem. Ethiopians come from Ham. How the hell are they gonna have the same bloodline? Come on, man. Use your biblical knowledge. Not only using some type of science that you don't understand. Science falsely so called. Or some you trusting in some.
If your mother is an Israelite and your father is not, you're not Israelite?
No, you're not an Israelite. You're whatever your father was.
Okay.
All right. It goes. It's always been like that. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They don't say Sarah, Rebecca, and none of that. And Leah. It's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Biblically. All right.
That's what
I don't see if it was either the Babylonians or the Persians. I'm starting to think it was the Persians, but it was the Babylonians who brought us over there. All right, and then I believe the Babylonians got taken over by the Persians, and then that's what happened there with Esther.
That's true. These Ashkenazis and Persians, they never talk about that stuff. We always gotta tell them about Arabia. And they think that Arabia was white people. They're saying Middle East. I was like, okay, so when was the Middle East created? They're like, they don't know. Middle East was created in 1903, but implemented after World War I and II. That's when you got that heavy migration of Asians, Ashkenazis, and
Okay. I just
First
read.
kingdom
Let
foundation.
me help you. I just read in Esther 10:2. It said it's also written of in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Media and Persia. So it was the Medians and Persians. It started out the Babylonians took us to that land, and the Medians and Persians, the Persian and Mede Empire, took over that whole province and ruled from India to Ethiopia. And so it happened under the
Yeah.
Persians, under Persia and the Medes with Esther. Now, what you're saying about the fathers, is that what you're talking about just now? Because I'll
No,
say,
no, no. You click that. You go ahead. But I was talking about Middle East. But what were you going to say?
oh,
My
Middle
fault.
East. That's it. When you're dealing with the Middle East, all races were in the Middle East at one time. Almost all, I'm going to say not all, almost all races were in the Middle East at one time. The Tower of Babel was in the Middle East. That's called the cradle of civilization. You had the Asians, Africans, the white people, black people, Hispanic people, Native Americans, uh, all these races, they were in the Middle East at one time. You got to look, when we went in to take the land, we fought against the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, the Canaanites, the Philistines, and the Arabians, Ishmaelites. They were all in the Middle East. All of us here today were in the Middle East at one time, like our ancestors. That's the cradle of civilization. You got to remember, after the flood, Ham, Shem, and Japheth came off the boat. They didn't just go 100 miles, 1,000 miles away from each other. They all started in that one area and start populating in that one area. They went far as walking distance as they could and grew and grew. But they all started in that central area, which is the Middle East. Science will tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You mean mulatto, not Mexican, though. You mean
No,
mulatto.
no,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm saying now they're called Mexicans. Back then they were called
Yeah.
Issacharites.
Correct, correct.
They
Yeah,
were,
you know your stuff, man.
yeah, they were called Issacharites. All right. So I'm gonna see. I'm gonna go back to the lesson and let some other people have some more comments. We'll go back to the lesson. If any other person want to jump in, I'm gonna go for about 5 more minutes because today was a good test run on doing the stream like this because we usually do the stream differently. Um, let's get
Let me ask you one more question.
yeah, go ahead.
You don't do the Jesus, do you?
Yes, we do believe in Jesus, Yahweh Shai, a black man named Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah. You can't believe in the Old Testament without believing in the New because the New Testament is connected to the Old Testament. They just don't have the understanding of the New Testament. They think, oh, Jesus is different because he loved everybody and brought everybody in when he really didn't. There's no, they just misconstrue scriptures to say he did. Let's get it. I'm gonna get it for you in the scriptures. Matthew 10 and 5 and 7. Out of Christ's own mouth, because they think, oh, he changed it. He made it for everybody. This is out of Christ's own mouth. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, Matthew 10 and 5, saying, go into the way of the Gentiles, and in the city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Verse 6. But go rather, he's saying, don't worry about those others, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This is out of Christ's own mouth, told them to go to the house, to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, the lost sheep of the house of Israel were mixed amongst many nations. That's why when you read in Acts, it said there were devout men, Jews out of every nation under heaven. Somebody said they believe in food stamps. They like that better. I don't know what you mean, believe in it. Now, we're going to get in Acts. We said it was Jews, devout men. Acts 2 and 5. Christ said, go to the lost sheep. Now, and he said, you got to go out to all these nations, but only go to the lost sheep because the lost sheep are scattered amongst all these nations. Acts 2 and 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem devout men out of every nation under heaven. There were Jews that came out of every nation under heaven. When you read in the prophecy, the Lord said he will scatter us from the ends of the earth to the four corners of the earth. God said he would scatter the Israelites. That's what he did. That's why the disciples and Paul went to these other nations, because to gather the Israelites up out of these other nations. Someone said EBT, EBT. How much is your EBT monthly? I get like $500,000 worth of EBT every month, man. Shoot, you jealous? I bet you wish you had that, didn't it? Go ahead, man.
How come the Beta Ethiopians got slaughtered? I thought it's because they didn't accept Christ.
When did they get slaughtered? Tell me about that history. I don't know much about the Beta Ethiopians.
Oh, it's when the Catholic Church sent Italian troops to.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there. Who didn't the Catholics slaughter?
I know.
They went everywhere. There's no people they didn't try to attack. They spread their religion by the sword.
That's right. That's right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, it was the Beta Israelites in the north of Ethiopia. They stayed up there, and because they did not accept Christianity, they got slaughtered. And then they took Judaism away from them.
That's not why they got slaughtered.
Ethiopia.
That's not why they got slaughtered. Let me listen. Let me hear you. Let me listen. Let me teach you
Why
something.
they get slaughtered?
The oppressor. The Bible says in Genesis 27:40, and by thy sword shalt thou live. This is talking about Esau, these oppressors, these so-called Catholics. They live by the sword, which means that's how they make a living. If they don't use that sword to steal and unalive, they will not have nothing. They live by the sword. They don't want to live by working. They don't want to work a job. They don't want to build and do none of that. If they do build, it's only so they can slaughter. That's what they do. Because they don't want to work. They don't want to use their hard work to build up an empire. So no matter if them dudes was going to accept their religion or not, and if they were eventually going to get dealt with by the sword if they were dealing with Esau. Think about it. Even when Esau sold the birthright, we was just going over that. Esau sold the birthright to his brother Jacob, and then later on he tried to unalive him. That's why the Bible says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob." So don't think it's because they stood so staunchly on their religion and they didn't accept this and they didn't accept. Look, people who accepted, look at black people. We accept Christianity. Why he slaughter us?
Exactly.
So it don't matter if those people would have accepted or not. They were going to be slaughtered if they dealing with Esau. The only way you can protect yourself against Esau is to turn to the Lord. Because right now is Esau's time. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. You know what I mean? Or unless you defeat Esau in battle. You know what I mean? Now if you defeat him in battle, now you can get him up off you. But a lot of these races, they didn't want to defeat him in battle. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But you're still going to take some casualties defeating him in battle. You know what I mean?
And then they're going to come back again.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. The Chinese, the Japanese, there's people, there's other races that the Vietnamese, the Koreans, there's other races that defeated Esau in battle and got him up out of the land, like got rid of him. So the heathen would have to meet him with force. So this is what the Ethiopians should have did. They should have met him with force and not ever joined with them. But eventually the Ethiopians did meet them with force. That's how they got their country. If you look into the history during World War II, I believe it is, where Haile Selassie, they end up fighting back. They end up fighting and getting their land. But if they would never fought, they would that whole country over there would be like South Africa. It would be half Edomites.
And remember, the Italians used gas. They used yes, against the Ethiopians, and they're not. And they broke international law, the wartime law, war act. So all the other countries around helped Ethiopia defeat the Italians.
Good. Good for them.
But
Good for them,
Italians
but
are
ain't
known
don't
for
mean nothing for
attacking
us.
black African countries.
Yeah, I mean that's good for them, but it don't help us, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, the children of Israel. It doesn't really help us. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect us. Like we still have our own battle, and our battle we need the Lord to win our battle because we're not heathens. We don't have nothing to stand on. We have the real God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to stand on. And then if we stand with that God, He's going to fight our battles for us. You know what I mean? He's going to make sure we're strong enough to win. But if we don't want to keep His laws, statutes, commandments, we'll continue to fail. All right. With that, I'm gonna end the class. Go to IS. Let me read the security announcements. So clap that up. All right. The security announcements. We are the ISUPK. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18 through 21, Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priest. It's not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Passover. It's going to be April 4th in Houston. It's going to be that whole week of April 1st through the 4th in Houston. You know what I mean? Go to our website for more deep on the information on exactly where to travel for the Passover. It's the biggest event of the year. All right. You can check the website or check the bulletin board in the hallway for more information. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black: boots, shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. With that said, Majim, which means rise. We're gonna give a courteous salute. Men of Israel, Imajim, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Barakathum, which means bless you in the name of Christ. Yazmatah, we're gonna give a courteous salute to the sisters that may be watching online. Men of Israel, Imajim, Imajim Shabbat, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alatah Bahashem Yahweh Shai. That means, may the Lord watch over you, sisters, in the name of Christ. Yazmatah, class dismissed. Shalom, Israel.